Apple CEO Tim Cook is defending himself from a European Commission ruling that Apple owes $14.5 billion in back taxes because of the breaks it gets operating out of Ireland. Now, tax breaks that the European bureaucrats are calling, quote, illegal. Here now is Steve Moore. He is a Trump economic advisor and Fox News contributor. Steve, I'm smiling because in some ways, this is a guy, Tim Cook, who supports people that support globalism, the same kind of globalism that's calling for these tax increases, right?
Yeah, there's a little bit of irony in here because Tim Cook has been a major and vocal supporter of Hillary Clinton, who wants to raise taxes on businesses. And in fact, in the Trump plan, you know, we want to allow Tim Cook and Apple to bring, you know, hundreds of millions of dollars, if not billions of dollars, that they have stored overseas back to the United States for a 10% penalty. But let's get to the heart of the matter here, David. What is this all about? It's basically an extortionary payment requirement by the EU. And why are they doing this? Why are they punishing Apple and Ireland for charging a 12.5% corporate tax rate, which, as you know, David, is the lowest in the world? Because the EU does not want tax competition. They hate tax competition. And they're sort of penalizing any country that has a low tax rate and any company that dares to move there, because the only way they can sustain these 25% and 30% tax rates that they have is by punishing companies like Apple.
I have been to Brussels and Strasbourg, where these bureaucrats hang out and where they come up with their policy. They know absolutely zero about business. They are bureaucrats born and bred, and they are dictating tax policy for sovereign nations. Now, this is what happens when you give up your sovereignty. That's why I focus first on the globalism of Hillary Clinton, because she's for giving up some of our sovereignty to these international bureaucrats on a whole range of issues, from legal issues to economic ones. This is what causes the problems in this world, right?
You know, it's so funny. I'm writing a column on this very subject right now, and my point is, you know, that when it comes to globalization, you and I, David, are for a global economy. You know, the idea that people can trade and move across borders. You know, that's for sure. So we want a global economy. What we don't want, and what the left wants, is a kind of global government. Because when you get global government, you get one of the most disciplining effects on government growth is competition between countries. Well, if you look at what happened in the 1980s, remember when Reagan cut our highest tax rate from 70% to 28%. What did the rest of that world have to do? They had to cut their rates to become more competitive.
Steve, we're running out of time, and I got to focus on one issue that you have with the guy you're helping out, Donald Trump, because he said before he wants Apple to manufacture all their iPhones in the United States. Now, you and I know that that kind of restrictive policy for an independent company, particularly one that relies heavily on iPhone sales, that would kill Apple. Has he changed his views on that, or have you tried to?
Well, what I've told him is, look, Donald, I'm with you. I want as much stuff made in the United States. I want jobs for American workers. But the way to do that is not through tariffs and trade restrictions, but fix our tax system so we're a competitive place. We're now one of the least competitive places.
Has he changed his policy because of your advice?
Well, I think a little bit. I think he has. And by the way, before we go, will you please tell Melissa, I scream to high hell when I get stuck in a middle seat on an airplane. I don't care what American Airlines says. I'm not going to do it anymore. I'm too old for that, Melissa. No more middle seats.
Good for you. I love that.
I don't know if American is going to let you back on, Steve. That might be it. You may have flown your last time in America. All right. Thank you very much, Steve Moore.
They're not going to let him in a middle seat, and that's the way he likes it.